Okay, so we just touched on training residuals. Very important. Okay, so tracking during the in-season. Um, so you've been running a bit of your readiness HRV stuff already, and this is where it really is important during the in-season because we need to be at 100% for Saturdays. Um, we can't run blokes into the ground on a Tuesday if they're still very sore from Saturday. Okay, that they will not be 100% for the next Saturday. Okay, so we're compromising performance. Um, if you can get players on board the wellness surveys every day, and they might email you the results, text message results. You could set up an app where they fill it out and it directly goes to you, the coach, or the conditioning staff, or whoever you've got running your fitness stuff. Um, I mean, it can give you a huge insight into where blokes are, and it'll give you an idea of, how they're treating themselves outside of football. Um, okay, so now we'll just go through a month by month um, sort of set up and how often we can train things and set up our weeks as we go through. So we start October in the off season. Okay, so we've got gym, which entails all the rehab, mobility, strength, hypertrophy, fat loss, all that stuff. Okay, so we're not doing any footy training or anything, so we can bump that up three or 5 times a week. If you love going to the gym like I do, you'll go 6 times a week. You want to get at least 3 in there though. If you want to make some real good strength increases or hypertrophy fat loss efforts, you have to be going at least 3 a week, at least. Your no to low impact aerobic capacity stuff, 2 to 3 a week. You might start with 2 for a month and then bump it up to 3 for a month before training starts. Remember, little to no impact though. Okay, we just want the heart and lungs to work. We can condition the leg muscles. We don't need them to be fully conditioned until March. So, a lactic para acceleration. So you mightn't start that straight away. That might be in the back half of October. You mightn't even start till November. So 2 to 3 a week there. Okay, so you wouldn't want to be doing 5 a week, 3 a week, and 3 a week. Okay, you've got to be able to get through all of these sessions without, you shouldn't be finishing these sessions and feel like you're going to die. Okay, it's just preparation for the harder training to come. Okay, so November is the same in the off season, so it's probably the first 2 or 3 weeks before you'll start your team training. So it's still the same as October, except you might start some low impact max velocity work, so some hill runs or some resisted sprinting, which you might do once or twice a week as well after acceleration stuff. Okay, so November, the second half, last 1 or 2 weeks of November when you start your team training. Alright, so now the running volume is going to start to come in, so we're going to have to cut down our gym. So I've got 3 to 4 a week there, so I've taken 1 session off. If you've gone up to 5, you might want to drop back to 4 because we're putting more training in. So you can't just keep putting more training in and expect to recover. You've got to take something out. Okay, we've only got an infinite amount of recovery stores, and once you start tapping those out, then you're just breaking the body down. Okay, and your risk of injury is increasing twofold. So your aerobic capacity, 2 to 3 a week. So you might be putting this. This is including your team training. So coaches, you might want to again find out what your players are doing outside of training. If they're doing more work outside of training, then you might give them less to do at training. Okay, give them more skill development work that they can do. Now that there's more teammates around, you can do more kicking, handball, that type of stuff. Lactic power, again, 1 to 2 a week. I've got skills twice a week, but like I said before, if you can do skills every day of the year, then do them. December pre-season. So this is the pre-Christmas. That's pretty much the same as the one before, as you can see. You might start some moderate to high max velocity, which comes down more to a flat ground. Okay, so when you run hills, there's less impact. when you're doing hill sprints, less impact on your knees and ankles and your hips. Ground contact is longer than when you're sprinting on flat ground. Okay, the body works harder to run on flat ground from a nervous system point of view, which is most important, than uphills. You might feel more tired running up hills, but your nervous system barely gets touched. Okay, so we've had a break. We've come to January, back to team training. Alright, so now this is where the running is really going to ramp up here, the conditioning stuff. So your gym will drop back to 2, 3 or 4 a week, again depending on how much you love it. Aerobic capacity, and you'll start with some aerobic power. Okay, so 2 to 3 a week. That's in total. So you might do 1 capacity, 2 power, or you might start with 2 capacities and 1 power session for 2 or 3 weeks, and then switch that around. You've been working aerobic capacity since October, so that should already built up to a pretty good level. So you can almost start putting that on a maintenance program come January, February, depending where your players are, obviously. So electric power, okay, so acceleration, moderate to high max velocity, that we're doing pre-Christmas. Now you might put in some change of direction. So that's your agility stuff. So you'll run to a cone, turn around, run back, coming in from different angles and taking off from different angles as well. So just like football, you go to the ground, you've got to get up quickly. Very Cyril Rioli, perfect. You can see how much of an effect it can have on a game when you're able to do this. So again, 2 to 3 a week. You might do an acceleration and change of direction session. You might do an acceleration and a max velocity session. Mix it up, 2 to 3 a week. Depends how you want to mix them up. Do an extra day on your own or something. So moving to February, okay, gym 2 to 4 a week. Again, depending how you're feeling with the extra running, you might want to put that just to 2 a week, almost an in-season model, which you'll see later on. You'll see how the in-season model will be working. Aerobic capacity, aerobic power has now gone to longer runs, so your aerobic power might be 20 seconds, 20, 30 seconds, okay, so the longer ones might go to 30, 40, 60 seconds, okay. I probably wouldn't go longer than 30, because you've still got a lot of aerobic power sort of type work in your skill drills. So don't forget your skill drills also encompass your aerobic capacity, power, your lactic capacity, your lactic power, your lactic power and capacity. You've got to take that into account as well. That's still stress that's going through the body. So lactic power, again, acceleration, moderate to high max velocity. I forgot to put change of direction in there, but that will stay the same, 2 to 3 a week, maybe 1 to 2 a week. And then I've got a lactic capacity, which I said you might not train at all, but I would definitely hold on till about a month before your first pre-season games. So halfway through February, 3rd week, 4th week, you might start putting in some lactic capacity, probably once a week to start with, because again, that's encompassed in a lot of your drills. So you might need to include anything specific for it if your drills are set up under a lactic capacity requirements. March, okay, so we're 2 weeks away from practice games. Okay, so gym might drop back again now, 2 to 3 a week. Lactic power, 1 to 2 a week. Lactic capacity, you might put your lactic capacity up to 2 a week now, because you've got your lactic power built up, your aerobic capacity is built up, so you should be able to repeat that speed pretty effectively now, hopefully, your new speed, but still once or twice a week, again depending on your skill drills and your tactical drills. Okay, so March onwards, alright, so remember the in-season starts the week before your first practice game. Okay, so your gym, this is your in-season model, so your gym will be 2 or 3 a week, maybe 1, might only be 1, so this will all be depending on your HRV readiness scores. Electric power, okay, acceleration, max velocity, change of direction, once a week for each of those. Electric capacity, once a fortnight. Okay, so this is going to the training residuals principles from earlier, how certain qualities stay with you longer than others, and aerobic capacity will only need to be hit once a month. Okay, so that's a pretty quick roundup of how to set your training up. There's my blog site there. I've got a manual